Always a lot of deer. I enjoy seeing them, so they don't bother me at all.
So many different times of the year we have all of the deer come into town. They just walk right through. You can feed them, you can pet them. They're so cordial. I love it.
I feel like there's been years where there's a lot of deer and it seems like definitely an issue, and then there's other, like lately I feel like I haven't really noticed as many deer personally, so yeah, just kind of depends.
I love them. They eat point. I've heard people, the tourists in this town go, they even use the crosswalks. They do.
They have no predators. They are so goddamn tame, it's not even funny. They're rats with hooves.
So I have a theory that the deer are like evil, and they're kind of like, I don't know what their motive is, but they're definitely out to get somebody.
I like deer just all around. They can just be in some of the most darndest places.
That's what people don't understand. These deers are like wild. I mean, the mama deers are cool and they cross the street at night, so you got to be careful at night with the deers because they have the babies. But some of the ones with the horns, they're territorial.
Thank you so much. You're welcome. Have a good day. You too. Thank you. I see a lot of my people in the neighborhood I live in. They'll be out there feeding them like apples and stuff, so of course they're gonna stay around.
I would love for everyone to just kind of leave them alone a little bit, for sure.
Instead of doing things like pellet guns or beanbag rounds and to discourage them and putting stuff out, there's stuff that you can put that's non-toxic that will discourage them. But nothing is being done to discourage them, and everything's being done to encourage them. Oh, how cute.
I would say there's definitely an imbalance in the ecosystem, from my understanding. I feel like there's a lot that goes into the reason why we have an overpopulation of deer, in my opinion, but I also feel like something we forget is that we share the land with the deer. Like, we always kind of see it as like they're an issue to us, like they're a harm to us, but it's like we're not the only ones involved.
You got to get to know it because some of them are got like 10, 12 points, and they've been running this town for a while.
So I like the deer because, yeah, I'm an animal person, and I'm also from Los Angeles originally, so we don't see a lot of deer there. So like, it's cool to see a bunch of like wild animals right next to you here. But every time I see them, I also feel like a little bit suspicious.
I mean, they overpopulate everything and you can't leave anything out on your porch. You can't. They'll go right at it and just take whatever you left out there.
We built our roads in the middle of their home.
Like, we should be allowed to hunt them in town. And if we started shooting them and eating them and hunting them in town, they wouldn't be hanging out in town.
It's positive for me. I like seeing them.
When I was working one shift, I was taking out trash, and all of a sudden, right, I didn't notice, but there was like a deer like right on my right side, and then I got spooked, and the deer looked at me, and it got spooked, and we were just awkwardly staring at each other for 5 minutes. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna go and do my thing. So
like this deer like stalking this chick. She's kind of like that weird kind of lady anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like always like, you know, in people's business and the fucking deer. And then she wouldn't let her out her door, in her front door. He's like, he's there, you know. She was bitching at the deer, and he knew when she was young, because his dad or mom must have told her. And she was always talking about the deer. So he finally comes up, and he goes, what the fuck you saying about us? You know what I'm saying? He might have been a reincarnated human, but I don't know if humans can go jump into animals. But I mean, the deer definitely, and that lady had, like, you know, it was like mixing oil and water, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so I like to walk a lot. So there's one time I was walking like up in the mountains, like right here, like above Lithia Park, and I saw deer, and I was like, okay, like we're pretty isolated, and they're just kind of like walking around, so I'm gonna like try and follow them to their secret lair. So I started to like chase after them, and so they started running, but they ended up leading me, like, on these crazy paths and, like, getting me lost, like, up in the middle of the hills. And then they, like, disappeared, like, out of nowhere.
But I heard about a 5-point buck over in Grants Pass that was hanging out in the suburbs because he knew he was safe and wouldn't get hunted. And they've so many generations, it's been so long that they are so acclimatized to us that during hunting season, they're all in town. They go out in the woods for part of the time, but they come in town, there's good food, they're comfortable, they know they won't get... I watched them use a goddamn crosswalk.
And even when I was in my car the other night, they were just sitting there. Just standing there in the road.
They just need to be left alone. They really do. They need to have their babies and they need to go on. We need to not bother them. We really do. They're so gentle and kind, and we need to leave them alone. We do. We need to leave them alone. Let them have their babies.